In this video, we proudly present to you the story of Max Verstappen, one of the greatest racing drivers on Earth. He is the first and youngest of many things. Born with fast blood and as one of a kind, the world of racing has never seen one like him before. Started racing at the age of 4 and climbed the ranks since then. Dominating in the last 2 years, he is no other person than Max Emilian Verstappen. Max, the beginning. Max Verstappen was born on 30 September 1997 in Hasselt, Belgium, to Sophie Kumpen, his mother, and Jos Verstappen, his father. At the time, his father was a Formula One racer, while his mother was a notable figure in the kart racing scene. Verstappen's parents got divorced when he was young, and he had to stay with his father while his sister went to live with their mother. Verstappen is not the only child of his parents. He has 3 siblings, some of which are not from his mother: Blue Jay, Jason Jacks, and Mila Fey. Worthy of note is that they all share an impressive connection despite being products of different marriages. The whole family always had a deep connection to motorsports. His father was a former Dutch Formula One driver, while his Belgian mother competed in karting. Although Verstappen was born in Belgium to a Belgian mother and lived in Brie, Belgium, he chose to compete with his Dutch racing license because he feels more Dutch. With his father, he spent more time with him than with his mom. Also, allowing this to his activities in karting and his being surrounded by Dutch people while growing up in Maaseick, which is a small Belgian town at the Dutch border, Verstappen said in 2015, "I only lived in Belgium to sleep, but during the day, I went to the Netherlands and had friends there too. I've been raised Dutch and that's how I feel." Verstappen is proficient in speaking 3 languages: Dutch, English, and German. His interest caught at a young, tiny age. Max Emilian Verstappen was born to be a racing champion. From the first day he saw the world, he was always into racing one way or the other. He did not wait for the big event to come. Instead, he took every opportunity to harness his skill and rise through the ranks. His father, having done a lot to help young Max realize his dream, being his coach, teacher, and supporter, has had much to say. According to Jos Verstappen, you will always find Max riding the quad bike in the garden daily. He also said that on the 2nd or 3rd day after he got it, he went on 2 wheels, had to adjust the steering, and went side-on into the wall. Luckily, he had a helmet on, and that preserved him in the crash. Max created a connection with all the engines he rode with, and it didn't matter whether he was driving a quad bike or an electric Jeep. What matters is that he was always driving, which helped build his confidence. His father did not want him to drive as early as he started. He wanted him to mature to an age he felt was good enough to keep up mentally and physically. Max's father said 6 was the perfect age for his little boy to start driving. But little Max had a different idea. A few years later, Jos went overseas at a race in North America, Canada, with his kart racing team when his phone rang. Max had been with some family members at a racetrack close to their home in Genk, Belgium. He was half crying, Jos recalls. He was 4.5, and younger people were driving, and he wanted to drive as well, so that's when it all started. This was in 2002. And by the end of 2003, Jos's F1 profession had thinned out. At this stage, he decided to concentrate all his time and effort on his son's career, like he would on a day job. Interestingly, it is possible for Max to tell his story of how he rose to the top without referencing the many efforts and sacrifices of his dad along the way. The rise of the great. The story of love and dedication ended in the emergence of a race driver of incalculable capability and talent. Once it became very clear to Jos that his son was destined to become a great racer, he chose to program him as one effectively. "I probably wouldn't be here now without the help and support of my dad," Max said. After he stopped F1 racing, he created time out of his busy schedule to prepare me for my career and major races. I grew up with my dad. He was my trainer, mechanic, and tour partner moving across Europe, Max added. After the crying in Genk, while he was in Canada, Jos bought Max a baby kart. According to Jos, they still have that go-kart hanging in the Verstappen shop. The first time Max got in it, he was immediately flat out everywhere, and the thing vibrated so much that the carburetor was falling off all the time. After 1 day of driving that thing, Jos bought him a mini kart, which they had to adjust a lot because Max was so small. Max was in his first kart race at 7. His opponents were as old as 11, yet he won. It was tough for him because the tires were soft and grippy, and you could see he was tired at the end of the race. However, the ability to keep competing and going through bumpy days is what makes a superstar like Max and keeps him going to the top. Trials and tests leading up to victory. Unlike what many people think, Max is not without the tests and trials that led to victory. At some point, he reached out to the Anglo-Dutch Manor MP team. They suggested a private examination in a Formula Renault vehicle at Pembrey, a small place in South Wales, that was periodically utilized for junior races on single-seaters. The small place in South Wales where Max made a lot of memories has since been developed, but in those times, it didn't have pit garages of all things. Tony Shaw, who was the Manor MP team manager at the time, recollected the first time Max arrived at Pembrey, and how shocked everyone was at seeing just a track and some sheep. He said that the Verstappens planned to stay for 2 days, and it rained on the first day. Considering how heavy the rain was, Joost did not want his son going into the rain until he was sure everywhere had dried up. However, after much consideration, they decided to get outside and focus on why they came there first, to race. Joost was nervous at the time, and was found pacing from one spot to another, while Max wasn't worried a bit. Everyone knew that he would be a superstar because he had all it took to be one. Verstappen did some more Formula Renault tests during that autumn and winter. He was fast and mesmerizing everywhere. Joost and manager Raymond Vermeulen concluded that they could skip the category and shoot straight for Formula 3. That was a brave decision, as F3 is a sophisticated yet technical category that normally uses scaled-down F1 cars. It is not for beginners. But then, Max was not normal. Verstappen's junior career. Max was competing in the Mini Junior Championship in his home province of Limburg in Belgium. In 2006, he graduated from Rotax Max Minimax and got the Belgian Championship. In 2007, he went on to win the Dutch Minimax Championship. Racing in a CRG kart, Max won both the Dutch and Belgian Minimax Championships. In 2009, Max joined the team PEX Racing, a CRG customer team. That year, he easily won the Flemish Minimax and the Belgian KF5 Championship. As reported, Verstappen advanced to international karting in 2010. He was signed by CRG Racing to race in their factory team at the World and European Championships. At the KF3 World Cup, he finished second and was only outshone by Alexander Albon. But he defeated him at the WSK Euro Series and also won the WSK World Series. In what did not come as a surprise to many, Max triumphed at the WSK Euro Series in 2011, which qualified him for the Intrepid Driver program. As a member of this program, he raced in the KZ2 and KF2 classes and won the Master Series ahead of other participants in the KF2 class. He further went on to defeat Antonio Fuoco and Dennis Olsen at the South Garda Winter Cup. At the end of 2012, Max left Intrepid and returned to the CRG team, where he once had a glorious stint at. Like he never left, he recorded amazing successes there, including finishing 21st at the SCUSA Super Nationals. At 15, Verstappen received 2 European titles and a world title in 2013, the European and World KZ and KF events, a record in the discipline. These titles are valuable to him as he always references them in many interviews over the years. Max had won the 2013 World KZ event held at Varennes-sur-Allier, France, where he became the youngest driver in history to have won the KZ World Championship. Max's Formula One career. Scuderia Toro Rosso, 2015 to 2016. 2015 was a dream-come-true year for Max at his first game for Toro Rosso, making him the youngest Formula One driver at the time. In his second race, he finished P7 to become the youngest to score a point in Formula One. Verstappen continued his impressive runs in the first season with some sensational drives and impressive overtakes throughout the season. He finished the season on a good note, outshining his close rival Carlos Sainz Jr. By the end of the season, after gathering 49 points, Max was 12th on the standings. And this impressed the Red Bulls and caused them to put him in the parent team to replace Danny Kvyat mid-season. Red Bull Racing, 2016 to present. After Max's promotion to the parent team, he qualified 4th on the grid in his first race in Spain. In a subsequent match in Barcelona, Max would go on to win the race on the last lap following a clash between two popular Mercedes drivers, Nico Rosberg and Lewis Hamilton, resulting in a fatal crash. This first win made Max Verstappen the youngest ever race winner in Formula One, trumping the existing record held by Sebastian Vettel. Throughout the 2016 season, Max kept proving his potential, putting together great performances weekend after weekend. In what would be an outstanding performance that made the whole world take notice, Max put up a show in wet weather conditions at the ultimate Brazilian Grand Prix. With the many performances Max pulled up on the grid, he was rated as one of the best racers on the grid in 2016. 2017 came and there was no backing down for the already established Max. If there was anything, he wanted to cement his place as the very best. However, the season did not start as he would have wanted because he had to deal with many issues like collisions and mechanical faults. These issues, among others, forced him to pull out from 7 of the 14 races he was supposed to be involved in. Max quickly put these challenges behind him, as he recorded victories in the Mexico and Malaysia races as the season progressed. 2018 picked up faster and better for Max than 2017, even though he had a few incidents he was involved in. His victory at Red Bull's home Grand Prix held in Austria was the year's highlight. He ended the season with more consistency than the previous one, outshining his teammate Daniel Ricciardo. In 2019, the Red Bulls entered into a new engine partnership with Honda, and this caused them to lower their expectations for titles. However, despite low expectations, Red Bull still performed well and was able to challenge the competition. On the flip side of things, while Max was flourishing, his newly introduced partner, Gasly, was not doing so well, which caused him to be replaced by Alex Albon in the middle of the season. In what he would call one of his best performing seasons, Max finished the 2019 season as the best among the rest. With a shining career, Max signed a contract extension in 2020 with Red Bull, who wanted him to stay. The 2020 season didn't go as planned, with a few technical issues involved. Like every other year, Max quickly picked himself up and won 2nd place at the Spanish Grand Prix and 3rd place at the 2020 Belgian Grand Prix, finishing in 3rd place at the end of the season. In 2021, it was finally time. After a great, tense, and very close season and a crazy final race, Max surpassed Lewis Hamilton in the final lap of the Grand Prix event held at Abu Dhabi to win his first world champion title in Formula One, 2022 and beyond. Max, in March 2022, cut a deal. A 5-year contract extension with Red Bull Racing for the 2023 to 2028 seasons. The deal is expected to pay Verstappen $50 million annually. After some races into the season, he was 46 points short of the championship leader, Charles Leclerc. He fired back by winning 5 out of the following 7 races, allowing him to lead the championship and leave a gap of more than 30 points above the 2nd place, occupied by his teammate, Sergio Perez. He went on almost effortlessly to dominate a major part of the season as he won 15 races and bagged the World Drivers' Championship at the Japanese Grand Prix to win the title, making him the world champion in 2 consecutive years. Awards and records of Maximilian Verstappen. Until today, he has won many rewards. Just to name a few: FIA Action of the Year in 2014, 2015, 2016, and 2019. FIA Personality of the Year in 2015, 2016, and 2017. FIA Rookie of the Year in 2015. Lorenzo Bandini Trophy in 2016. His records include the following: youngest driver to race in Formula One, youngest Formula One driver to win a race, youngest Formula One driver to score a point, youngest Formula One driver to get a podium, youngest Grand Prix winner in Formula One to do so multiple times, first ever Dutch driver to take a pole position, most podiums in one season in 2021, most points in one season in 2022, most Grand Prix wins in one season 2022, FIA Formula One World Champion 2021 and 2022. Lifestyle, wealth, and relationship. Max is the youngest person in history to join the Dutch 500, the list of wealthiest people in the Netherlands. He's not simply just among the wealthiest minority in the world of sports, He's also, in his nation, according to quotenet.nl, being the youngest to ever appear on the list. It proves that with 1 decade more, at least, in his career, Max is making a lot of dough and moving for his wealth. While he earns greatly, Max is not afraid of spoiling himself. The Dutchman travels on a brand new Bombardier Challenger 3500 private jet worth about $27 million. He has assets including 5 real estate properties, 3 luxury yachts, and 11 cars, which include a Bugatti Chiron worth $3 million, Lamborghini Aventador for about $1 million, Audi R8, Jaguar F-Type, McLaren 720S, Mercedes-Benz AMG, and more. Verstappen's net worth is estimated at $200 million, while his yearly salary exceeds $50 million. Some brands sponsor him: Zigo, Jumbo Supermarkets, Red Bull, CarNext.com, and G-Star Raw. He owns a stock investment portfolio with 12 stocks, including IBM, Amazon, Apple, Netflix, and more. Max is currently in a relationship with Kelly Piquet, the daughter of the 3-time F1 champion, Nelson Piquet. In conclusion, Max is 25 years old and still has at least 10 years in his career. He has acquired much success and wealth, being the youngest centimillionaire in his country. He has won a lot and is so motivated to win even more. We can expect to see more greatness from him moving forward. A true GOAT in the making.